Hello, I'm Meteorologist Chris Ramirez with the KHOU 11 weather team. We are already seeing that Arctic blast making its way across the northern portions of Texas. Currently, right now here in Houston, it is 63 degrees, but as we look at Amarillo, it is 15 degrees. You're able to see those surge of blue colors making its way across the western portions of the state. So this is just an indication that you only have a matter of hours to prepare for this Arctic blast, as it will creep its way into the area going into the early hours of Sunday there. So as we look at satellite and radar, we're not seeing any precipitation, just some upper level cloud coverage across the central portions of the state. But going into that Arctic blast timeline, I'm going to time it out for you and break it down on what we're expecting to see as we head into the next 3 days. So we're going to start with Sunday. That first surge of Arctic blast will be arriving between the hours of 2 and 3 in the morning. Temperatures are going to be in the 40s. However, we're going to see those temps briefly drop down into the 30s going into early Sunday morning. And then by Monday night, Sunday night into early hours of Monday morning, that's when we are expecting to see that light wintry mix across southeast Texas. Weather models are hinting that we could still see some of that wintry precip between ice and sleet falling across the area. Temps will be in about 30-35 degrees for Monday afternoon. That is still above freezing, but even though we do have those temperatures in the mid-30s, that doesn't mean that we still can't see some of that wintry mix in some locations across the area. However, by Monday night, between the hours of 7 and 10 p.m., that precipitation chance will end and the winds will start increasing. So we are expecting those gusts up to about 25 to 30 miles an hour across the area, and that's when the temperatures are going to be dropping to below freezing. We are expecting to spend a good 19 to 22 hours below freezing here across southeast Texas. And then after the precipitation chances end, by Tuesday morning, we will definitely expect to see dry conditions, but even though it's going to be dry, we are expecting 28 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts. Real temperatures, actual temps will be between upper teens to lower 20s, but when you factor in those cold temperatures in combination with those winds, it's going to feel like between 4 and 6 degrees. That is dangerously cold conditions, and that very well can contribute to frostbite if you are exposed to those elements. So it's very good necessary to definitely implement those safety measures and layer up if you do find yourselves outdoors between Monday night into early Tuesday morning. It's still going to remain cold, but we're expecting dangerously cold temps Monday night into early Tuesday morning. And then we're going to once again drop to below freezing between the hours of 2 and 5 p.m. So we're briefly going to be above freezing for Tuesday afternoon between 33-35 degrees, but then another 19 to 20 hours below freezing as we head into early Wednesday morning there. So definitely expecting a fairly cold outlook for the Chevron Houston Marathon. Temps are going to be in the low 40s. Winds are going to be gusting up to 10 to 15 miles an hour. So when you, like I said, when you combine those wind speeds with those actual temps, it's going to give a wind chill in the 30s. So if you have any loved ones, or if you're running out in the Houston Marathon tomorrow morning, layer up, probably wear a face mask, and just take the necessary measures to protect yourself. And of course, as you run in these conditions, it's going to feel all the more colder going into the early hours of Sunday there. So as we look at future track in terms of our temperatures, we are expecting Tuesday into Wednesday to once again drop into the teens there. So definitely another cold outlook expected. If you are traveling across Texas, just keep in mind that we're going to see travel hazards as early as tonight become a bit treacherous for portions of along the I-45 corridor from Lufkin to Dallas, and that's when we are expecting, like I said, that precipitation chance. And the reason why I'm saying precipitation is because it's not going to be rain. It's going to be a mix between rain and freezing precipitation there going into early Monday morning into late Monday afternoon. So between Austin and Dallas to the eastern portions of Texas are going to be under the gun for that freezing precip, sleet, ice potential. So as we look at a closer look for us here across the Houston area, we are expecting it to mainly remain well to the north and to the northeast, even northern Harris County, Tomball to Magnolia, Woodlands. could definitely still see some of that freezing precip, some sleet and some ice could be forming on some of those roadways as we head into Monday morning. And that's when we're expecting to see that potential for that freezing precip. Even though you see the green colors for the Houston area, it doesn't mean that we cannot very well see some of that wintry mix here across town. So you might want to be extra cautious, especially on bridges and overpasses as we head into the early hours, late Monday into early Tuesday morning. And like I said, once we get closer towards 7 p.m. Monday to Tuesday morning, that's when that precipitation chance will end. We're going to have a surge of dry air. That a high pressure system is going to be moving in across Texas, and that is going to bring us a surge of blasting cold temps for Tuesday morning, as those winds are also going to pick up there. So as we look at those future feels like temps, this is for Sunday morning for folks running in the Chevron Houston Marathon. It's going to feel as cold as 31 out at Bush, Pearland as cold as 34 degrees, in the 20s for our outlying areas. So this is an indication that if you are running in the marathon, or if you have some loved ones, if you're going to be along the sidelines and cheering your loved ones on, be extra cautious in terms of how cold it's going to feel like. Take these feels like temps as actual temps, because that wind chill is a hidden factor in terms of the danger component in terms of these cold temps. So as we fast forward to Tuesday morning, like I said, this is going to be how cold it's going to feel like, as we're going to be blasting with those winds between 25 and 30 miles an hour. So feeling like 12 out at Bush Airport, 12 in Pearland, and this is fairly rare for us here across the Houston area. As cold as 3 degrees out in Burnham, and I wouldn't be surprised if areas off towards College Station to Bryan could feel as cold as 0 degrees or -2 when you factor in those wind chills. So as we look at the difference between a freeze and a hard freeze, I know you've been hearing the terminology there. We have a regular freeze is when the temperatures drop below 32 degrees and could cause some light freeze damage to plants for the most part. But other than that, that hard freeze this is what we're expecting here across Southeast Texas, when temperatures drop to below 24 degrees for 2 or more hours. So any plants that are left outdoors, we very well could see some heavy freeze damage to those plants as we go into Tuesday morning. So in the span of everything going on, the coldest temperatures are going to be occurring Monday night into Tuesday morning, and then Tuesday night into Wednesday. So definitely we are going to see those temps in the 60s going into the next few days. So definitely 7-day forecast, temps, very cold conditions starting on Sunday, MLK Junior Day, getting up to 34 degrees. This is when we're expecting to see that ice. We have two components here. We have the sleet ice potential on Monday, and then that wind chill factor for Tuesday that's going to create some dangerous temperatures if you are exposed to those elements. So it's a good idea to layer up, if not just remain indoors for Tuesday, as it's going to be dangerously cold. And then, Wednesday, hard freeze still in the picture, and then warming up into the 60s once again, another system on the way for Friday. So if you are just now joining us, I'm going to go ahead and start this over. And, it's always important to make some necessary cold weather precautions there. So if it's a cold weather checklist, make sure to bring your pets indoors, protect those pipes as well as those plants, and of course other people who are elderly or limited in terms of mobility there, and then drain those sprinklers as we deal with this Arctic blast already making its way across the northern portions of Texas. Feeling already 15 in Amarillo, Lubbock 49, 51 in Abilene. At the beginning of this stream, it was at 56 in Abilene. Now it's at 51. And that surge of colder air is going to be making its way across Southeast Texas. So we only have hours to prepare for this winter weather and these very cold temps to make its way through. So we have that first surge that's going to be arriving in the early hours of Sunday. So between the hours of 2 a.m. to around 3 a.m. is when we are expecting that first surge of colder air. Temperatures are going to be in the 40s. Winds are not going to be as strong as what we're going to be dealing with on Tuesday morning. But even though we're going to see winds between 10 and 15 miles an hour, it's still going to create feels like temps in the lower 30s. And then going into Monday, that light wintry mix across Southeast Texas. So we have two components of this Arctic blast. We have that precipitation potential for Monday, 12 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then once this ends, once that precipitation chance ends, that's when the winds are going to increase. We're going to see dry air behind it. Temps will drop below freezing. We're going to spend a good 19 to 22 hours below freezing here across southeast Texas. And then Tuesday morning is going to be the coldest morning that we're going to see in quite some time, as we're going to see winds gusting up to 28 to 30 miles an hour with feels like temps ranging between 4 and 6 degrees, as actual temps are going to be from the teens to the lower 20s. So definitely something to keep an eye on. We are briefly going to be above freezing for Tuesday afternoon, and then temps once again dropping back down below freezing, lasting through Wednesday morning. So Chevron Houston Marathon, like I said, once again, very cold conditions, feels like temps in the 30s, winds gusting up to 10 to 20 miles an hour. But one thing that everybody's worried about is that precipitation potential that we're going to see. If you're traveling north of Houston, starting on as soon as tonight by 10:30, that's where we're going to start seeing some of those showers start moving on in. And then it's going to be increasing, stretching as far south as San Antonio, even East Texas, Lufkin, Dallas, dealing with that freezing precip. But we're going to be on the border between that freezing and, of course, melted precip. But like I said, even though it's just north of Houston and west of the city, we very well could see some of those wintry mix here across town. And of course, when it comes to those elevated overpasses and bridges, keep in mind that any roadways that are elevated above the surface, they have a lower temperature. So that's when we could see some ice accumulating on some locations across the area as soon as early as Monday afternoon. So light wintry mix possible Sunday night into through Monday, and that's going to last into late Monday, clearing out by Tuesday. And then, like I said before, that wind chill factor, winds picking up to 35 miles an hour, with feels like temps ranging between 4 and 6 degrees. Hard freeze expected, as we are going to see temperatures in the lower 20s. Of course, you could always stay up to date on the latest weather information, especially as we anticipate this Arctic blast here across southeast Texas and across the Houston area, on the KHOU 11 app and on KHOU.com. Definitely be safe out there.